Ezra Pound speaking, Radio Speeches of World War II. Number 15, March 8th, 1942, UK, B-15, Gold, England. The enemy is dust like capital. They're working day and night, picking your pockets every day and all night, picking your pockets, and picking the Russian working man's pockets. They call it international loan capital. It is not international, it is not hyper-national, it is subnational. A quicksand under the nations, destroying all nations, destroying all law and government, destroying the nations one at a time. Russian Empire and Austria, 20 years past. France yesterday, England today. Gold is a coward. Gold is not the backbone of nations, it is their ruin. A coward. At the first breath of danger, gold flows away. Gold flows out of the country. England, don't grow it. There is no gold sprouting up in England next morning to replace what is gone. Taking usury rotteth the heart. I know you don't believe it. It has been going on for some time. Art Golding a few years ago, writing the life of his famous ancestor, or perhaps I shouldn't say famous, one of the best Shakespearean poets, Arthur Golding, translator of Ovid's Metamorphoses, about the best book of poetry in our language. Shakespeare learned from it. Well, his namesake and 84th generation, or whatever, descendant points out that even in the time of Queen Elizabeth, the Earl of Oxford was falling. He was handing over his rents to some shyster in return for a fixed income, 10,000 or whatever it was a year, and then the shyster had leave to squeeze what he could out of the peasants and yeomen, out of the men working the land. Decline of the feudal system. Old F.M. Ford used to talk about that. Liberty is not a right but a duty. To own property, not a right, but a duty. I wonder how long it is going to take you to learn that. A rot and laziness cutting in under, too lazy to function as lords and proprietors. The nobility sold out to the shysters. In my 12 years in London, how many people did I meet? Meeting, as you might say, the flower of the writing class in your island. How many people did I meet who had read their own history? How many who had read Anthony Trollope? It was said as extenuation of Professor Sainsbury, quote, "At any rate he recognized the merit of Trollope," unquote. Owning property, not a right but a duty. That statement is rather emphatic. Even Robespierre defined ownership of property, putting a limit on what the owner has a right to. That being so, you play around with Bolshevism, thinking you will get out of a duty. Is that it? Or is it just chicken-headed on your part, this pinkness at afternoon tea parties? People from East Europe who have been over next to Bolshevized countries see different. People that have been up against red Bolshevism financed by Schiff in New York and Rothschild in London see different. If you wait too long, you may see. So far I have never met any English who believed in the abolition of personal ownership. I see you have lost the habit of Witan, the Wittenagemot, and the town meeting. If you don't grow or find a leader, you may have to wait for some kind-hearted Bavarian or Hungarian to come free you from the Jews of New York. Do I exaggerate? Do you think there is any basic, essential difference between a committee of kikes in London betraying the United States of America, and a gang of kikes in New York selling up England and putting mortgages all over your island. Do you think that freedom and the roast beef of old England, or roast beef of old Argentine, consists in taking orders from a gang of Jews in New York? Potatoes and point, for yours if potatoes, and point to where the roast beef had been, or might have been. I know it hasn't been stylish to read USA history in England. Lord Bryce and a few exceptions looked at American history. However, along in 1863, the United States was sold up the river. Eichleimer handed it over to Rothschild. Can't let 'em print national money. All American money must be controlled by the debt, and the debt controlled by the Rothschilds and their associated fellow Episcopalians. I know it was clever to send Willie over to New York City to look after your interests and get information on to how Washington was conducting the United States business. A nice little tube instituted. And now, the first thing you know, all your island strength has slipped down it. Your bankers profiting by the decline of England, the hat trick. Yes, the hat trick. The banker gets on a boat. His company is registered elsewhere. He casts down the mighty. I hear even Morgan has lost his seat. Gold is a coward. At the first breath of danger, gold flows out of the country. Now, Mr. Eden has declined to cooperate with the nations of Europe. Oh, most emphatically, he wouldn't shake hands with Neville. He left the house in disgust. And Winston, he toppled over Japan right on top of you. Sitting outside, I mean to anybody sitting outside looking in, it would seem that this flop of Japan right on top of some of your select naval bases has occurred at an inconvenient juncture. But you are accustomed to your parliamentary leaders. No number of errors on their part induces you to wonder whether your leaders are or are not the kind of men who make errors, create 'em, you might almost say, out of nothing. Do you grow gold in England? Do the froggies grow gold in France? Do the Nigerian farmers get anything but trouble out of having their government run from London by the pimps, narcs, and lackey of the Jewish owners of gold mines? Did the ex-servicemen after the last war who went out to Africa, etc., etc., and etc., is gold the cement of empire? It is not. Yes, you can gum on to the Arabs. You are allied to a few millionaires. Your allies in India are the Banya. You do nothing in your colonies to compare with the colonization, real colonization as Italians understand it. Well, I won't say you do nothing, but you mainline in squeeze. Squeeze, ruin the natives, exploit 'em. With exceptions, a man here and there, I suppose, still doing his job along the line of Mr. Kipling's romances. Jews all over the top of Australia. War on your dominions. You are tired of the name of Alberta. You did everything but march troops into Alberta to keep it under. So the orientation of Canadian trade is now southward. England is to be a Jew-owned deer park with tea rooms. Unless, of course, you lift the tired and tardy eyelid. You have no gold mines in England, and Hank Wallace, the American vice president, yelling bloody murder that there will be and shall be no peace till the whole world sells its birthright for the gold now in Fort Knox. Gold bought from your Jewish merchants at a rigged price. That has ruined half the American people. Gold that is totally useless save for false teeth than spectacle frames, not even in fashion for goggles replaced by porcelain in swell dentistry. Mr. Wallace says you got to go on blood and tears-ing till mankind bows down to the calf. How did you get there? I lose my thread sometimes, so much that I can't count on anyone's knowing. Thread, as they call it, of discourse. A nation that pays 2 rents can't compete with a nation that pays only 1. How many rents and rates are you paying? How many were you paying before this new war was started? How many of you meet to discuss things? Toynbee Hall and the rest of it, nigh 100 years ago, say 80 years ago, there were movements in England, amateur discussions of guilds. 25, 26, 27 years ago, nightlife or night dance clubs started in London, looked diverting. Nobody wondered why. Old Frida started the Cave of the Calf. Nobody thought any evil. Possibly a little espionage, probably not even that. Wake up one morning and find the spirit of England, immortal spirit of England's May Day, chained in a brothel. Just another hat trick. Undermining, cutting away. Where did she get the money to do it? In France, things were much more professional. Marvelous fibre. England, 250 years usury, cutting away, Hobhouse, Cobbett, Trollope, men coming back from the colonies, telling you, and being told to shut up, Montague Webb trying to tell you something. When they didn't shut up, they were given jobs, sometimes quite nice jobs. Out of London, they were promoted to colonial posts, or as Kipling once wrote, Jack Barrett went to Quetta. But that was another story. That was for a personal reason. Are you going to select a leader? You haven't followed and won't follow any leader yet offered. Have you a selfish leader? Have you the sphincter strength to revive the old custom of meeting, or are all town meetings forbidden by now in England? Was the war what you wanted? Were you told in 1939 what Vice President Wallace has now at last told you, namely, no peace without the gold standard? After Winston's visit to Washington, have you mental coherence enough to recall what happened in England when the fat boy brought back the gold standard? Must have been years ago. Did someone say 1925? I have plumb forgot when it happened. America is alias behindhand, gets round to a dead British idea about 20 years after England is through with it. No peace without the gold standard. Why weren't you told that before you set out to keep Danzig Polish and to defend Finland against Russian menace? No peace without the gold standard. Is that the voice of we, the people of England? We have not spoken yet. Pound speaking from Italy. Parlando da Roma. Pound speaking. Am I expected to wait for the people of England to speak? Of course, you'll have to find your own leaders. I can't pick and choose them for you. End of number 15. England, Gold. Ezra Pound speaking. Radio speeches of World War II.